What's going on, guys? Melon back again, and today I'm going to be bringing you a Shadow Omastar video. This has really weird IVs, but it ended up being like, I think, Great League rank 250 or so, and so I just decided to power it up. And it's a pretty fun Pokemon to use. I have to use it in the Fossil Cup, which, funnily enough, is terrible for Fossil Pokemon, because Poliwrath and Ferrothorn dominate the meta, but I still had some success with it. It isn't that great. Honestly, there are a million Pokemon that are better than it in the Fossil Cup, but it's still a lot of fun to use. I wish it did have a faster charging water move. I think that it already has an incredible attack stat, does a ton of damage, so having to build up to a Hydro Pump is just not very useful. I think I've landed like 2 Hydro Pumps. Now, when you land the Hydro Pump, it basically knocks anything out. Even, I think I landed one on a non-Shadow Poliwrath, and it did like 80% of its health. So it's pretty crazy how much it does, but I think it would benefit from having something like Water Pulse, for example, as a charge move, excuse me. So on the lead, I'm running Aerial Ace, Water Pulse Lantern, or excuse me, not Lantern, Mantine. Then I have this Shadow Omastar in the back with Mud Shot, Rock Blast, and Hydro Pump. And then I also have a Ferrothorn with Bullet Seed, Power Whip, and I'm using Mirror Shot on it. That's more because I'm running out of charge TMs than anything else. If I had more charge TMs, I would put Thunder on it, but I want to save them because it's the Shadow event, and so I want to make sure that I'm using these charge TMs when I get them to actually get rid of frustration. So anyways, the team is all right. There are a lot of matchups that really cause problems for this team, but all in all, Omastar was a lot of fun to use, and you'll see that in this first one, I will be able to take the win in this Ferrothorn matchup. They just decided to concede. So next up, we have a positive matchup. I think Mantine lead was actually very strong. I go into, they swap Mantine, and so it makes a lot of sense to go into my Omastar. It's so glassy that it doesn't take anything well. You'll see here that they land an Ice Beam on it, which is double resisted, and it still chunks reasonable amount. I don't know why they went for the Ice Beam. I think Aerial Ace is always going to be the better option, but they did. So I'll build up to the double, throw Rock Blast. This will knock out, and they decide to shield. So I probably should have just gone for back-to-back. But I don't hate this play. I'll build up to 2 right here. And this will mean that if they do shield, they'll have to... Okay, they don't shield. I'll just go for another one. Obviously, Shadow Omastar cannot handle the counters from a Scavalier. But as you can see, neutral damage basically does 50% to an S-Cav. That's really not that bad. For a move that you get in 5 turns, I just swap in my Ferrothorn. They see the writing on the wall. Here we go. Next up, we have Mantine into Ferrothorn. Definitely, I prefer to be the Ferrothorn in this matchup, but my backline, Ferrothorn on Ferrothorn is whatever, but Omastar cannot see Ferrothorn. It will just get blown to smithereens. The Bullet Seeds will actually chunk the Omastar, so it is what it is. They do have Thunder, and I shield that correctly, which is pretty huge. I'll go for these Aerial Aces, and as long as they don't have something that has count, like an S-Cav in the back would be very bad. But they go into Jellicent. That means I can swap in Ferrothorn. I don't have any shields. I'm down 2 shields. That's obviously not good. But with Mirror Shot, I'm going to be able to actually get some baits off, which is very nice. So I am going to bait with the Mirror Shot. This is always going to be shielded, so, it is what it is. There we go. I get off the Power Whip on CMP, which is pretty big, because I think it was a Shadow Ball that they used. And so that's going to mean that they're going to undercharge this for sure. I don't know if they undercharge that enough. So they only get 1 thing of farm, so that's not too bad. And I've chunked them they're probably at 60%, which isn't too bad. They're going to throw, I think this is Shadow Ball. It is. Then I'm going to build up. They have a Ferrothorn in back. This will knock out, which isn't too bad. So that goes over well. They're waiting out the switch clock. They go back into Jellicent, so I'm just going to throw with my Omastar, Rock Blast. As you can see, it does quite a bit of damage. Not too bad at all. I'm going to try to throw before they get to another move. And in back, they have Mantine. A little bit difficult here because you'll see, even though I'm up energy, they're obviously up health. And I won't be able to make a move on my Omastar, so that's a bit unfortunate. I'm going to have to try and catch. We'll see where that leaves me. I think if I do get a catch, I do end up winning this, so this just comes down to whether I can force them to throw into my Omastar. So I'm counting, and I throw it. I thought they were just going to throw immediately, but they're patient, and they end up waiting out. And they're going to be able to knock me out, so I lose this one. It is what it is. You're not going to win them all. On to the next game. Berserker on the lead. This seems like a horrible lead because every game is basically Poliwrath lead. They do catch onto a Magzone, which, congratulations. But, oh man, that's a little unfortunate. I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to swap in Omastar because it has double super effective fast moves, even though I take a huge amount. Here's very, very unfortunate. It doesn't knock out, so a little bit sad there, because that would have been very, very helpful if I didn't have to waste that shield there. They go in Pelipper, which is surprising because obviously Rock Blast is going to be very, very threatening, and they don't shield, which not sure what they're cooking up there. That's like 80% of their health gone. But it is what it is. I'll just let Omastar go, and this should be in the driver's seat now for me because Mantine can obviously handle Pelipper quite well. I'm going to shield because I know Berserker in the back. It might have foul play, but yeah, I'm not super concerned about Berserker. Not going to bait, just going to go straight for the Water Pulse. Oh, yeah. They don't even shield that. They're expecting the Aerial Ace bait. I don't know if that's a winning play, to be honest. That seems like not the best move there. So it is what it is. They're probably going to throw foul play, but they have Iron Head. I don't know what Berserker's moveset is in this cup, but that's kind of crazy. So that's not even going to knock out my Mantine, although I make a mistake by trying to farm down. Basically, Mantine is not going to be able to. They throw Coast Combat, but Ferrothorn's tanky enough, and I can just farm down with Ferrothorn. On to the next one. Very good lead. Mantine into Golisopod. I'm lagging here, so I couldn't switch out. I get kind of stuck. I don't know why the game... I feel like there was an update recently where before that I was able to switch out just fine. Was not able to switch out there. But I do get Ferrothorn aligned onto Lantern, which is very nice. Obviously, Ferrothorn is the only Pokemon on my team that can handle Lantern, so very, very happy to see it here. They do shield the Power Whip. They do get the Thunderbolt off. What I am afraid of is that they're going to be able to swap because the switch timers were slightly out of sync. I need to be able to get off of this Power Whip to knock out the Lantern. I am going to use the shield here, but I'm afraid they're going to catch. So, yeah, they instant swap. So I can't get the Power Whip onto Lantern. That really, really sucks because now my Mantine is going to be basically useless after, it's going to knock out this Golisopod, no problem, but it's going to be aligned onto Mantine or onto Lantern, and so it's going to struggle a bit in that matchup. As you can see, Lantern has half of its health, and so a bit unfortunate that I wasn't able to switch out earlier with Mantine. But it is what it is. I'm able to get this Water Pulse off. So the Aerial Ace plus Water Pulse will do quite a bit to the Lantern. but Lantern will have a move, and if I go in with Ferrothorn, I'm going to have to shield anyway, so I rationalize it by, makes sense to just immediately try to pick up some farm on Mr. Omastar. So in the back, Jellicent, that's something I can definitely handle. So I'm just going to go in with my Ferrothorn. Not too bad. They do use the Shadow Ball, and I'll be able to get to 2 moves before they can hit another Shadow Ball. And so basically, Omastar is going to be able to clutch out this game. A lot of Pokemon would have been able to, but you know, got to give Omastar its props. Rock Blast does put in a lot of work. You'll see that I basically never get to use the Hydro Pump. So that's why I'm saying, like, its stat product is not good at all, and its typing is not good at all. But it still, like, hits very hard. And so if it had a water move that could charge to quicker, I think it would be a lot better of a Pokemon. Or if it had some decent coverage move. Right now, you know, with Mudshot, it can charge very quick, and because it has such a high attack stat, it's one of those like fast charging, hard hitting Pokemon. And so, you know, I do think it has like some potential as just a meme Pokemon that is not good, but yeah, right now it's kind of unusable. So I'm going to go into Omastar. Obviously, Mudshot does nothing, so they're going to be able to get off a move. They throw a Hurricane, which I was like, huh? Why did they not just go Weather Ball? I think they were afraid that I was going to be able to just knock them out, but they were able to get off another move anyways, and it takes me a lot longer to knock them out than I was hoping for. Basically, they send in Poliwrath, which is nice. I feel like they should have been able to get to an Icy Wind, but they don't throw. Maybe it was they only have Dynamic Punch, but it is what it is. Maybe it's like a Power Up Punch, Dynamic Punch. I don't know. Anyways, they have a Quagsire in back. I see why. They basically weren't going to be able to knock out my Ferrothorn. So they needed me to not shield the Dynamic Punch to win. So fair play to them. Ferrothorn very strong in the back. Another Poliwrath lead. I swear it's all I see. I see Ferrothorn and Poliwrath on like every team. Jellicent's pretty common. I'm just tired of this meta. I hate these Master League and then Fossil Cup metas. Or not metas, but when those are the two leagues available, because it's just like I can't play Master League because I just don't have XL candies for my legendary Pokemon, and there are very few things that are not legendaries that are top meta. It's basically like Origin Form Palkia, Origin Form Dialga, Landorus, that crowd of Pokemon, and so I can't really hang in the Master League. And then in Fossil Cup, it's the super limited meta. There are like 10 mons that you just see over and over and over again. I mean, I'm literally using Ferrothorn because there's nothing else to use. So it's kind of sad. Going for the Mirror Shot bait. I get it, and this means that I get to throw another Mirror Shot, which isn't going to do anything besides debuff the Poliwrath. And so that's helpful because they're going to throw another move. This means that I can tank it quite nicely as they're debuffed. They have Lucario in the back. This should be a win. Even though Lucario is going to chunk Omastar pretty significantly, I get the bait on the first Aerial Ace, and then on the second Aerial Ace, that means it's going to land because they don't have shields. Is a bit spooky because my 2 shields are kind of meaningless right now. They're just going to pup, and Force Palm is going to absolutely chunk me, but I'm still going to be able to hit this Rock Blast, and Lucario has such a low damage or defense stat, so I'm going to win. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.